Hello you guys, welcome to the video. I'm Natalie and June just finished, so today I'm sharing with you guys all the books that I read in June and my July TBR. These are all the books that I read in June. I'm going to go from my lowest ranked books to my highest ranked ones. Starting off, we have Vampire Academy. So, I don't even know. I don't have a rating for this. I honestly don't even know if I finished it. Okay, if you haven't heard of it, it's a YA book. And basically in this society, there are like full-blooded vampires, which are like the royalty, and there's the half-blooded vampires. And so basically like these two best friends, they were at this school to like train and stuff. And then they ran away from it for like a reason we don't know, or that's like shows up later on. And then at the beginning of this book, they basically like get dragged back and all that drama and stuff. I have read it before, but yeah, when I used to read this book, I did not realize how problematic it was. She's a 17-year-old girl and she falls in love with this like 24-year-old, and there are just like a few other things that like rubbed me the wrong way about the society and stuff. And so yeah, didn't finish it. Anyway, moving on. The next book would be Float. I rated this a 3 out of 5. Definitely good for the summer vibes, but I just felt like it wasn't super like substantive for me. It was like fine, and that's basically all I have to say about it. Sunkissed is next. Sunkissed was a 3.5. Again, this wasn't like super substantive. It didn't go super deep, but I feel like I did relate to the character a little bit, and it was just like very fun. It made me smile and laugh a lot, and so that's why I love Casey West and why I like really enjoy her books. Even though it was only like a 3.5, I like very much enjoyed reading it, even if I wouldn't read it again. Little White Lies was also a 3.5 out of 5 for me. So these are all YA books, and this one is a mystery, and it was good. There were like a lot of plot twists and stuff that were very interesting, but for some reason they just didn't really like hit me super strongly. Also, I was expecting the friendships to develop more, and also I didn't like the last twist. Like, it bothered me. It just made me uncomfortable. I feel like other people could definitely like this a lot. I think those were just more like personal preference things for me. I still enjoyed reading it, and just like the twists and stuff were really good. But yeah, I don't really even feel interested in reading the second book that comes after this, so I think that shows that it's not super high, but it did have a lot of good elements to me. Second Chance Summer. This was a 4-star read for me. It takes place over the summer, so it's a good summer read. It ended up getting pretty deep into like family things and grief and stuff like that, and so yeah, I really enjoyed reading this book. It definitely made me like appreciate more family relationships in my life. You know, I'm always looking for a book that will make me feel something, or make me kind of examine things in a new light, or just like remind me of what's important and give me perspective, and this book did. So that's why it's a 4-star read. It got a little sad, but I enjoyed reading it, and I would really like to read more books by this author, by Morgan Matson. So yep. And then the rest of the story, Sarah Dessen. I love Sarah Dessen books. This is a 4 also. In this book, the main character, Emma Saylor, she goes to see her family that she hasn't seen in a while over the summer, and like some of her old friends and cousins and stuff. This is where her mom grew up, but her mom died a while ago, and so she's kind of just like uncovering the past about her mom. It's not like a mystery book, but she's kind of just finding out more about her mom and like what her mom was like when she was younger, and kind of just all the things that went down because her dad doesn't really talk about it. And yeah, I thought like the friendships and stuff and like the relationships that were built in this book were super cute. But yeah, good book, like all Sarah Dessen books. And then last but not least, Dreamland. I literally just finished reading this yesterday. I actually, this is a reread. So I've read this before 3 years ago maybe. And again, Sarah Dessen books. This one is a little different from her other ones. I feel like it's a little heavier. But yeah, I enjoyed it just as much as the first time I read it. I don't know what I'd rate it. It's at least a 4. It's not a 5. Maybe like a, this is like a 4.25. Yeah, I don't really know how to explain it without giving away like anything that happens. So I'm just going to read from the back because I really want to talk about this book. But it says, love can be a very dangerous thing. After her sister left, Caitlin felt lost. Then she met Rogerson. When she's with him, nothing seems real. But what happens when being with Rogerson becomes a larger problem than being without him? So yeah, this one is a little more heavy than her other books. It actually made me cry a little bit. And I don't cry when watching movies or reading books. Like at most I tear up a little bit. But this one, like, there were like 2 tears and multiple times where I was like tearing up, just because there are some things in this book that are like really, really sad and pretty hard to read about, even though it's a YA book. Nothing like super graphic or anything, but basically her sister leaves, and so she's having a hard time on like the family front, and like her parents are kind of falling apart because of it, and then she gets into this like relationship that is not healthy, and then things just kind of spiral out of control. it was very interesting to read through this book and like see from her perspective things kind of just like floating by, like happening but not really happening. She's just kind of like in a daze through things. I don't know how to explain it, but I highly recommend reading this. It deals with important topics. Very good book. There were like a lot of quotes in here I like, so I already know that I want to buy all the Sarah Dessen books, but I definitely want to buy this one and like annotate it and mark the different quotes and stuff I liked. So those are all the books that I finished reading in June. Also, quick note, I filmed a few spoiler-free reading vlogs in June about a lot of these books. So if you want to hear more about like my thoughts on them, especially in the moment while I'm reading them, then go check out those videos. And now we're going to go into my TBR. So we're going to start off with the ones that I started reading in June and did not finish. So for one, we have The Hate You Give. I finished reading the first 8 chapters and I really do want to continue. I was just kind of getting busy and stuff, and so I didn't get to it, but I'm definitely going to in July. This is one of the things at the top of my July TBR. And then I also started Genuine Fraud. And this is an E. Lockhart book, the author who wrote We Were Liars, which is like what got me interested in it. I am enjoying it so far. I don't actually know how far I got. So far, I just know she's running away. I don't know why, but it's definitely interesting so far. It's definitely kind of pulled me in a little bit. And yeah, we'll see where it goes. So those were the 2 that I started and didn't finish in June. Also on my TBR is Family of Liars. I checked this out from the library, so I need to finish it before I return it. Well, start and finish it. But it's also by E. Lockhart, and it's a prequel to We Were Liars, which I think will be super interesting. So it's kind of like mystery-ish, I think. And then the other books that are on my July TBR, Once Upon a Broken Heart. Oh my goodness, I've seen so many booktubers talking about this book, and I so badly want to read it. It's a fantasy. I got big on TikTok, and I just heard it's very like magical and like whimsical feeling. I love fantasy, and that is exactly what I want from my fantasy books. You know, like princesses and balls and stuff like that. The next one I want to read, Truly Devious. So, as you can tell from some of these books, I am into mystery right now, and Truly Devious is something I've been looking at for a few weeks, and then one of my friends on her Be Real today posted her reading it, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is a sign, I need to read this. She said how much she loved it and stuff, and then I looked at Goodreads, and it turns out I'd marked it as want to read in June of 2020, so 3 years ago. I didn't even realize that. But yeah, I definitely want to read that. If I like that one, then the rest of the trilogy too. And then moving on into our summer section. So, The Summer of Broken Rules. Oh my goodness, that's one I've been hearing about on BookTube too. I so want to read The Summer of Broken Rules. It just sounds like a really cute book. The romance or something starts off with a game of assassin, and that just sounds so fun to me. I feel that's just like such a fun, unique way to kind of start off the book and have that. And then, a trilogy I know you have all heard of. The Summer I Turned Pretty. So, like many books from my middle school and early high school years, I started the series and did not finish them. And it honestly did not really have to do anything with the books themselves or like me not liking them or anything. I would just read like 50 books at one time, so I never finished any of them, never knew where I left off in any of them. I'm pretty sure I finished the first book, but I don't really remember anything about it. I think I read through it like super fast or like skimmed it or something. But either way, I don't really remember it. And yeah, The Summer I Turned Pretty is just super big right now. So I want to reread those. Like actually read them, take my time with them, and read through them. It's just an iconic series. Also, season 2 of The Summer I Turned Pretty is about to come out. And I have to read the books first because I'm not watching the TV show before I read the books. But since we're on season 2, I haven't even watched season 1 yet. Which means that in July, I want to read at least book 1 and at least book 2. So yeah, that's my TBR for the month. I'm sure there are more that I want to read, but those are the ones that I for sure want to get through. I'm sure I'll also be reading other ones for like videos because I'm going to do some like videos that follow different themes and stuff. But those 5 books that I talked about, I'm so excited to read them. So those are going to definitely be my top priority. Also, if I come across any other like super good summer books, I probably want to get into that too. But yeah, that's all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
And you have got my head in the clouds.
1, 2